Victor stood up, went down on one knee, and he pulled out the ring and he proposed, right? But during that time, he shook my hand. He was like,
I'm like shaking her hand. Will you marry me? Yeah.
He's like, will you marry me? And I'm like,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy E.T. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And as you know, we love to bring you incredible couples from time to time. And we've been so blessed to come across so many great couples that we can't always do it just once a month. So every now and then, there might be a bonus, but there's some people we just can't hold back. So we're going to bring you another couple today. But before we go there, those of you that are watching on YouTube, you're able to be like, okay, well, let them. They're just sitting there. Let them talk. But look, we got to pay the bills too.
Right.
No, so one of the things we want to do is if you're enjoying the podcast, you're enjoying the interviews, the different nuggets that we're providing, the people that we're exposing you to, make sure that you give a shout out on your social media for Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey, but then also go to Spotify and Apple Podcast. And like we say, out here in California, put 5 on it.
Put 5 on it.
All right, so put 5 on it. Get them 5 stars. Leave a review. Mm-hmm. If you want to do one better, you can actually take a picture and post it on your social media and invite your friends to become part of the conversation. Because that's really what it's about. It's about raising the awareness when it comes to the covenant of marriage and inviting people into the Iron Tribe so that way we can all start to grow and learn together.
I was going to say it's about raising the bar, but okay, go ahead.
Nah, y'all heard ET. He said, click the button. Make sure you guys hit that button and raise the bar on your marriage. I'm not even going to say it. He said it phenomenally well. So he's going to let us rest there.
Hey, I'm good.
Okay. Well, today we're bringing you all the way from Texas. So we're talking about Dallas, Fort Worth area. We got this power couple that we're bringing to y'all, and we want to get into it. So today we're welcoming Vic and Latasha Johnson, all the way from the great state of Texas. How y'all doing?
Good to go, man.
Great.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Right. See, I just met Latasha finally because we had a gathering. You heard us talk about, who you surround yourself with. There was an episode where we talked about a lot of the kings that I hang out with in our Kings Accountability group. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, say it. I know you want to say it. Just say it. Say it.
The cadges.
We fight over here because see Vic's face like, wait, what is that? She keeps saying, are you on the Cadge call? And I'm like, it's not Cadge.
Oh my God.
KAG.
Snooks. Come on.
Right? Okay. It just came to, I was like, oh, that's Cadge. So you can shorten it. It's the Cadge call.
King's Accountability Group. Do not shorten the group.
He gets so bad. He's like, don't call it that.
So Vic is one of the leaders. He's part of the leadership team and on the board of directors when it comes to the King's Accountability Group. Mm-hmm. And so we had a gathering that we talked about. They came all the way out from Texas to just kick it with a bunch of other kings and queens because it's important who you surround yourself with. So, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do. And we want our audience to really get to know you.
For sure.
All right.
You want to kick it off?
Sure. So I'm Latasha Johnson, and Victor is my husband.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And I'm a realtor here in the Dallas area, the DFW area, and I'm serving all cities north of Dallas. That's a little bit about me. We started investing in real estate in 2015, and we've been expanding our portfolio since then.
And I think the people want to know like when we got married, stuff like that. So we met 15 years ago. So this is 2022 now. So in 2007, we were both working together in different sectors of the building. And this little hottie came up on me, you know what I mean? Tried to holler at me, you know, but we'll tell more of the story because it's two lenses that you see these stories from. You already know how that goes.
Yeah, always.
We've been married. This year makes our 11th year in marriage. We blended our families together. So she had a beautiful daughter at that time, was 9 years old. I already had 3 kids. So I brought baggage into the relationship and we blended those families. We were living in Atlanta at the time and we moved to Texas. We actually moved to Austin, Texas in 2014. End of 2013, I got a job out there. And then 2014, my wife came out and the youngest daughter. And then 2017, we moved up to Dallas. So we've been up in Dallas since that time. I grew up in the Bay Area, so that's how I kind of got connected with a lot of the other brothers on the King's Accountability Group.
Enunciate. Say every syllable.
I felt that. Okay.
Exactly. So that's kind of the summary version. But yeah, we can dig in wherever y'all want to start.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I always want to start with the beginning. You said the little hottie, she was trying to holler at you. She was kind of side-eyeing a little bit like, okay, that's not quite what happened, but go ahead, sis. You tell us what happened.
So I did approach him in the beginning.
Okay.
Then he shut it down. So yeah, he shut it down.
You got to tell it right now. Hold on.
He shut it down. So at the time when I started working at the company, he was my manager and I was like, oh, this is a nice fella. He's young, he's handsome, and he's professional. Let me see, let me see, shoot my shot, I guess, as the young folks would say.
I got to add something. Okay, so I was a manager of a team of, it was probably like 40 people on this. It was a collections agency, and I had this little glass cubicle. So it was wide open, and my phone rings at the desk. It's like, hello, it's Vic Johnson, one of them type of deals. And she said what she said.
But I did not say anything inappropriate.
She didn't.
So.
But, folks be trying to set you up in those leadership roles, especially when you're a young Black man in that kind of role. And so I just was always skeptical. Is somebody trying to record me? Somebody trying to set me up, So I had to play it real straightforward on the line, but I got back at it. Yeah, we got back at it.
Yeah, about a year later.
Okay, so I by degree, my bachelor's is in human relations, which is the fancy thing, the diversion for human resources. The HR in me is like, okay, so when you got back at it, were you still her manager?
No, she had moved into the legal division of this agency, and I was still running the call center floor. And it actually, this is how far we go back. So we were still getting like paper checks at that time on payday, and we ran into each other at the bank. So I actually pulled up, she was going in. So I kind of moved a little bit faster probably, to make sure I got inside to kind of catch up with her. And then we talked a little bit in the bank parking lot, exchanged numbers. And I don't really remember why there was a gap of time, but maybe a few weeks later, we ran into each other again at the stoplight getting on the highway. And so I rolled the window down like, what's up? And
he asked, he was like, what's up? I said, nothing, headed home. Like, what do you mean, what's up? He's like, yeah, why haven't you called or something? Or I got a new phone, what's your number? So we're at the stoplight and screaming through the window. And we exchanged numbers again.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think we maybe talked a couple of times, and then he took a trip out to the Bay Area, and I called him and I was like, hey, what's going on? And
yeah, and that happened to be a weekend I was in California. So I was like, I will call you, I promise you, as soon as I get back. And I did call. So we picked up our courting process when I got back from California. That was probably like August about August of 2007. So yeah.
2007.
Yeah, 2007.
So
yeah, this is our 15-year anniversary of starting our courting right now, like somewhere in this time. So
Yeah.
I think that's so funny because it's like, I feel like the Lord was like, okay, so first time, and then shut it down. Then at the stoplight, he's like, okay, I'm about to set y'all up again. So take the hint, get it together. Don't mess it up. Don't be slow, Mr. Victor.
Yes. Yeah. And I started listening. I was listening. Yeah.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Okay, but wait, I gotta ask. So are you the people at the front of the line talking to each other, holding it up when the light went green?
No, so we were working a night shift at that time, like a 12 to 9 shift or something. Yeah. So it was like 9:15 at night, getting on the highway, and it was still Atlanta in the summer months. So it was still hot. So, the windows is down, and I was like, oh man, look at this. Hey, and we exchanged numbers again. So yeah.
Hey, that timing was impeccable.
That's awesome.
So from the time that you guys actually ended up, you started that courting process again, how long did it take for you to go from coming back from the Bay Area to the point where you decided, like, okay, you know what? Latasha's the one. This is, I'm gonna get down on bended knee.
That's whoa. So you went fast there. Hold up. Bended knee. Whoa, hey. No, so when I got back in town again, I pretty much immediately, reached out to her. So maybe the next weekend we probably went out to a movie and just kind of slow rolled it. She was a single mom, and I was a bachelor, and I had my kids, that was coming by like weekends or whatever, that kind of dad. And so it first started with me, I guess, just inviting her over one time, and then her daughter had a big 10-year-old birthday party. It was the 10-year-old birthday party. And it wasn't long after that I brought my kids. Like, we all went to a skating event, and my kids were not feeling good that weekend. Like, it wasn't even them. It was like something they ate or whatever. And when I picked them up, they were already sick. So when they got to the skating ring, they were very non-social. So of course, Ty, our daughter, was like, oh, they don't like me. And so
poor baby.
We kind of kept dating and whatnot. And then another opportunity came up. And it really wasn't long after that where my youngest daughter was a year older than Ty was at the time. And they hit it off really well at that point. And, we talk about it a lot, that we feel like their relationship kind of thrust our relationship further, because we always wanted to get them together, and do things like that. And, at this point, I'm, in my early 30s and really wanting to kind of settle down and get it together. And it just was a good look. And I just felt so good around her. I just wanted to, be part of her life and help her get through whatever she was going through. And it just built from there.
That's awesome. It's so hard, to bring families together. And it sounds like, okay, so your daughters are advocating for, like, look, we get along. Y'all need to figure this out because we cool, and you could be my sister. Okay. So,
right, that part.
Yes.
So that's good. So what were some of the challenges that you faced when it came time to, okay, we really gonna do this, and we're gonna bring this families together, and we're gonna blend. So another every house has its unique challenges.
Wait, before you go there though, I want to hear about was there like a big what is that called, proposal, or was it just like a happenstance, like, let's just go and do this, or did you do something like?
There was a big proposal.
Okay.
There was a huge proposal.
Was a story. Okay.
There was a gigantic proposal.
Yes.
So at that time, we were again living in Atlanta. So there's a lot of, entertainment going on in Atlanta and TV shows and all this kind of stuff. And so during that time, Monique had a show in Atlanta. And so they were doing like, as long as you signed up, you could come be part of the studio. And during that time, she would do like these things at the end of the show, celebrating Black couples. So I was like, oh man, that would be really cool if I could pull this off. But I had no clue if it would work out or not. Reached out to them, and the assistant on the show, once I told her, hey, I noticed that Monique really likes to celebrate Black couples. We're a young couple, we're getting together. I would love to propose to my wife on the show. This young lady on the phone was like, oh my God, oh, give me your number. I got it. Oh, I'm gonna call you back in a couple of days. And I'm like, okay, does that mean I'm gonna be able to do this or not? She's like, I got it. I will take care of everything. And so fast forward, she called back, set up everything. And I played it like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the Monique show and kind of just hang out this day, right? And so she had actually went the week before, I think, with one of her girlfriends to the show or whatever. And a buddy of mine had gone maybe a couple weeks before that. So I knew it was pretty easy to get into the audience. And so when we get there, we have very specific instructions. Again, she's not really hip to what's going on. And so they had a special parking area and wristbands with different colors than the rest of the people in the line. And so she probably was starting to figure out like what's going on. But when they get us to the actual, the audience area, they took us up. So I was like, this don't feel right. Like, why are we gonna be way up in the, nosebleeds? And I'm proposing to my wife. So we're sitting there and I'm just really nervous. I got this ring in my pocket that I've been playing off like, just car keys or whatever. Right. And so fast forward, somebody comes up to us, the usher, not usher, but the usher of the audience, brings us back down, and we're like sitting in the second row. Really cool. It was really cool. So there's a guy, Rodney Perry, who was her co-host, and Rodney Perry was like, hey, we really like to celebrate couples. Hey, he's pointing to his group and like this couple of 3 or 4 rows behind us. How long you guys been married? Oh, we've been married 25 years. So the crowd claps about that. Comes over to another couple. How long you guys been together? Oh, we've been together, 8 years, 10 years, whatever it was. Oh man, y'all give them a round of applause. Great. And you, young brother, how long you been together? And I'm like, oh, I guess that's my cue. So this is where it get real crazy. Like the everything went black. My mind started getting cloudy. I'm like, so I pull out this ring and I treat her like she's a business partner. Like, did I get on my knees?
You did.
I got on my knees. Go ahead.
So once Rodney Perry addressed Victor, I looked to my left and looked at the girl and I said, oh my gosh, girl, like he's about to propose. So I have all of these thoughts running through my head. So once he approached Victor, Victor stood up, went down on one knee, and he pulled out the ring and he proposed, right? But during that time, he shook my hand. He was like,
I'm like shaking her hand. Will you marry me? Yeah.
He's like, will you marry me? And I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
Yo, there's footage of that too. I'm gonna send you the footage. You might want to drop it in for the show. There's footage still out there.
If you can give me that footage,
I promise you, I will send you that footage, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then after he stood up, we didn't kiss. We just kind of like hugged. We were so nervous.
Yeah, like I was in that moment where I was like, I want to tell her how I feel about her and why I want to propose. So, and as soon as I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It just went all to crap, man. And anyway, we got through that, and they actually had us redo it where I was sitting on my knees and putting the ring on her finger. But this is the icing on the cake. They call us to the front, and the guest of the show that day was Anita Baker. She holds our hands and sings "Sweet Love" to us in front of the crowd.
Yes.
Wow.
What?
Yes,
that is amazing.
That's Sweet Love right there. So it was a pretty big proposal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, that takes the cake.
Before the show, we had a very special moment in the studio, baby. Y'all roll the clip of Vic and Latasha. We wish the two of you the sweetest love you could possibly imagine. Get ready for the ride of your life because it's amazing. Now, Anita Baker, I'm sure they're probably going to walk down the aisle to the song Sweet Love. That's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
That takes the cake.
Wow, that is so nice. How come you don't know nobody?
So
What?
you didn't, where do we go? We went to the
spaghetti factory.
There's nothing wrong with that
But
because he would ask me how would I like to be proposed to. I was like, something small and intimate. I didn't want anything big. So when he did that, I was kind of like shocked. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. I said, oh, okay.
I think what really made it super cool too is that, it was on TV. So like family across the country that I hadn't even talked to in a while was reaching out like, yo, bro, I just saw you get proposed on the Monique show. I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't live. They, filmed it and then taped, played it maybe a couple weeks later on Valentine's, I believe when they played it. That following Valentine's, like two weeks later, and they played it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I can just imagine now, if it would have been me, I'd be like, okay, well, the honeymoon's a bust because I don't know if I could top this.
It kind of was, yeah. I had to catch up on the honeymoon once my money got right a little bit later on. Yeah.
Oh, that is dope though. That is by far the best.
Yes.
You did that.
Like that.
Are they back to shaking hands again?
Right.
It's the businessman in me. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Ooh, that was hilarious though. But no, that is so beautiful. How awesome.
That was cool.
Why you cutting? Don't cut your eyes at him.
Look, between you and the last couple we interviewed, I mean, he busted out with 2 rings. And she looked at me like he couldn't decide. So he was like, oh, I'm just gonna buy them both. And he gave them both to her. And I'm like, she gonna turn and look at me like,
I just looked at you, babe.
I'm like, look.
I just looked at
His brother got he got Monique.
I know Monique and Anita Baker.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
he
awesome.
was like, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
And we went to Vegas. She planned this huge birthday party for me in 2019. And at that time, Monique was doing a residency in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And so it's like 4 couples. I had no clue these couples were coming. So she surprised me on that end where we show up at this little bar, cigar bar, and my peoples just pop up like, yo, what y'all doing here? And so we went to Monique's show the next night and we saw her backstage. She remembered us. It was real cool. It was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's what's up. Okay, you still messing me up though. I'm just saying. Okay, no more stories from y'all.
So, okay, let's get
this guy.
No,
that's good. You know what?
That's amazing. I think that's beautiful. It is.
And the lesson in there is that it doesn't have to be anything big and extravagant like that, but it's like, be open to the surprise. Mm-hmm. Live life. Life is meant to be lived. And it wasn't perfect, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
They were shaking hands, giving dap.
I know.
But you know what? It was like they were in the moment. What mattered was the love, the intent behind it. And, and for those of you that are listening, make sure you're taking notes because it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to figure it all out. If the love is there and the intent behind it is pure, don't let that person get away. If you love each other, quit waiting for the absolute perfect right moment.
Right. Yeah.
It's up to you to make it right. So now you said you've been married 11 years.
Yes.
11 years.
I'm curious.
So that was what? 2011?
So that was 2010 when we did the proposal. 2011 we got married.
Okay.
Okay, she's a high S, high C. She will sit here and do the math and install the show.
I can't help it. It's like I just have to know the numbers. So sorry, guys.
Her too.
I am too.
Okay, see, thank you, thanks, sis.
So over the course of the 11 years, what is something that has really stood out? What have you discovered to be, like the cornerstone of your relationship that is really something that you've built your marriage on, that not only is making you successful today, but you think is going to really be the cornerstone of your relationship going forward for the next, 30, 40, 50 years?
I think we keep each other balanced, right? So when he's a high I, high D. So when he's wanting to do all of these amazing business ventures, I have to sit back and say, hold on, slow down.
Yep.
And kind of bring it, back to level playing fields. But I think for me, it's more of how we are more equals and we balance each other out.
Yeah.
What about for you?
For me, I feel that because I've been in a bad relationship. I was in a horrible marriage situation that lasted less than a year, probably 5, 6, 7 years before her and I got together. And so I had a contrast. Like I was like, okay, this is not it, and for me, I wanted to make sure that I did everything in my power to make her comfortable and, feel like she, could be who she wanted to be, right? And so we talk a lot. We talk about our goals. We talk about our kids. Now we have 2 grandkids. And throughout the years, it's been a lot of bumpy roads, especially in the earlier days in Atlanta, where money was funny. Even though I was making good money, I wasn't managing money well. We had these mouths to feed. We were moving, just doing a lot of stuff and trying to get the family to work out. And just being there and being honest with each other and talking and being very transparent when things weren't right, like, hey, let's talk, let's figure this thing out. And I try to be solution-based with things, and I think it just balances out. Like she said, I'm always like, let's go. And she's like, hold up, let's analyze. And that is a great balance. At least it's worked out for us in our relationship. And I think that would probably be the cornerstone, is just our oppositeness is an attraction.
So it sounds like, this isn't one of those, yes relationships. Yes, whatever you want. Saying yes
Definitely
to everything.
And you know what? A lot of people think that, oh, you just do whatever Victor says, or you just go with the flow. And I'm like, no, not really.
She's driving most of these moves, to be honest with you. And, I'm just so outspoken that it seems like, I may have, initiated a lot of stuff, but we work together. We are a really great partnership as a marriage, as friends, as business people.
I love that. And that's what it's about, right? A partnership across the board. So how is that? The two of you working together, not just loving together, but also working together in your businesses.
Go ahead.
It's challenging sometimes because you have to know, when you're my spouse and when you're my business partner. And I think sometimes we kind of, I personally think.
She's nodding her head.
Okay. Yeah, so you get it, right?
Yes, you didn't even have to go any further. Yes.
When I'm doing a deal or something with him, he is always, I need this, and this. And I'm like, dude, I have other things to do. Like, I can't just, do it because you're my husband and you need it right away. You're gonna have to wait.
Right.
So I think we just have to sometimes understand the roles at certain times. Like now, I guess you're my spouse, right?
Tonight we're spouses. Yeah, we're spouses tonight. Yeah. And again, you're right. We just said it. She's very systematic. She likes her stuff to be done in an orderly fashion, and I like to make decisions. I got to make a move real quick, otherwise, it's not gonna work out in my mind. But I've learned through working with her, honestly, hey, chill, bro. It's gonna all work out anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be good. And even if it doesn't work the way I want it to work out, it's probably gonna work out better if I just sit back and let her do her thing. Let me play my role. And I think in the last year and a half, at least from my perspective, it's really gotten pretty smooth. I know where my line is, and then I cut it off, and then she could take it on and handle it from there.
That's good.
That's good. Cause I mean, as a couple, we have our own jobs and whatever, but coming together, kind of like Latasha, like you were saying, it's easy for the lines to get blurred, and it's like you said, are we doing business right now, or are you my husband? Because I need you to know I'm off from work right now, so we're not talking about all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And then too, even being able to, let me just ask the question. So how do you deal with disagreements within like the company and making sure that they don't carry over to the marriage?
That's a good question. Have we had that? I mean,
Last night.
last night, I was like, okay.
You were fussing last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Man, you're a great interviewer. Holy God. Man, Snooks.
If you enjoyed this, tune in next week and listen to part 2 of Sweet Love with the Johnsons here on the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.